Hello and welcome to another episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. My name is Sergej. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine myself, and today we're going to talk about tech monopolies. Some people are saying we shouldn't break them up. I say we should. That doesn't mean it's necessarily a trivial matter. And today we're going to talk about mostly how to go about that. We might talk about why a little bit, but I mean, monopolies are bad. That's kind of, I think we can all understand that. So,
I think we can all agree.
What are the difficulties and solutions to those difficulties when it comes to breaking up tech monopolies? Sergej?
I mean, like, especially for, like, social networks and stuff, like, interoperability. Like, right now you can't really send, like a post on, like, I don't know, Twitter from your Instagram app.
I mean, you can screenshot it. But yeah, no, that is obviously not how those are meant to be used. And the problem with social networks, of course, is the network effect, right? You wouldn't join a social network that no one you know is on, because that's kind of not the point of a social network. I mean, social media has changed a lot about how it treats itself, and social networks aren't really social networks in the traditional sense anymore, blah, blah, blah. But the point being, it only works if there's people on there. And that's why it's very hard for new social media sites to get a foothold. You have to really offer something, right? TikTok had a format that was somewhat unique, and it had great creator tools, and also a really good algorithm, and it's very scrollable. It's meant for mobile, which is what most people use, much to my chagrin. And
Same.
That is how they got big. And also they're not social media. I mean, the social networks in the classic sense, they're more really social media, where it's like, it's the broadcast yourself model, right? It's like, it is social as far as it's just people doing their thing rather than professional productions, but it is still more media focused. But social networks in particular, like Facebook, Twitter, even Instagram, right? Like those sort of things. And I mean, Facebook and Instagram is like, that's one company.
Yeah.
And so those rely on already having a lot of users to attract more users, because you want to interact with their existing users. That makes sense as a business model, but obviously if we wanted to break those up and we wanted to release their foothold and wanted to make sure that, you know, it's not Elon Musk who dictates what you can and cannot say in public, basically, it's like, you get the choice. Do you say what Elon Musk wants you to say, or do you get to say what Mark Zuckerberg wants you to say? There is no correct choice here. They're both wrong. And so, obviously, right, what you said, we need interoperability to fix that problem. Because no one's going to switch on messaging apps as well, right? Like, those are even worse almost than social networks.
Yes. I have tried for so long to get people off of WhatsApp. It just doesn't work.
I mean,
mostly technically it's like a good platform.
Yeah.
Secure and all. But I just personally don't like it.
Yeah, I don't have WhatsApp, so it's like, for me that solves that problem, right? It's like, you have to find another way of reaching me. I'm literally not on WhatsApp.
Can you even be on WhatsApp? Does your phone run it?
It used to. Used to. I think I might still be able to, but I want to say the Play Store on my phone is like, it's not even called the Play Store anymore. It's like whatever the previous version used to be, the Android Store, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually,
I don't remember.
Like, for some reason when I reset my phone, it went back to such an old state, like, that I'm not even sure that if it's still operable in that sense. But also, even before that, even though WhatsApp technically worked on my phone, I also didn't get messages for like hours, sometimes days after I should have received them, because of the internet connection. But like, I had it on Wi-Fi. I literally once put it next to the router. It doesn't help. My phone is just shit. Okay.
Interesting.
And since
did you have WhatsApp open at the time?
I mean,
like on screen?
I don't think so. But
because it might have just killed the background process to save battery.
Maybe actually that might have been it. Might have not actually been a reception issue then. But anyways, it wasn't practically usable in any sort of real sense, and so because back in the day when you had to have when you wanted the web or desktop version of WhatsApp, you needed to still have it receive the message on your phone, and your phone would send it to your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Which has security reasons that it wasn't just a bad design choice. There was actually a reason behind it, but still, it was basically unusable for me, so I didn't. I have Telegram.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Telegram. You do need a phone number for it. But you don't even need to install it on the phone that has the number. You just need to install it on a phone for some reason. The desktop app doesn't work unless you already have an account created on the phone. I don't know why.
Do you have to create your account on your phone, or is it just for verifying that you own a phone number?
You have to create your account on a phone. Doesn't have to be your phone. You can create an account, enter a phone number, you get a verification text, you enter the verification code in the app, and you can log into your account on a different phone. And then you can use that phone to then activate your desktop account, at which point the desktop account just works without needing a phone ever again. I literally, because that was after I got Telegram after I had my phone reset and the whole WhatsApp thing didn't work anymore, and the Play Store didn't want to cooperate, blah, blah, blah. And so actually, Joe had Telegram, right? And he literally just logged on his phone, create a new account, enter my phone number, I gave him the code, then used his phone to activate it on desktop, he logged out again, logged back into his account, and now I have Telegram on my computer, and also I have all of his contacts. Because it does the contact synchronization
I find it
thing
funny. Yeah.
That WhatsApp also does, where it takes all of your all of your contacts in your phone. And so it used to be for a while that 90% of the messages that would get on Telegram would just be, this person just joined Telegram. Because it used to be in Joe's phone contacts. It's this person just joined Telegram. I'm great, I don't even know who that is. So, that's fun. I mean, I think it were one or two people that I genuinely knew that didn't previously have Telegram and then did. But for the most part, it's actually people that I didn't know, which is even funnier. But yeah, I'm on Telegram and I'm on Discord, right?
Yeah.
And I have to have both of them on, because otherwise, if someone sends me a message on one of them, I don't see it. Wouldn't it be great if I could just choose one, and if you send me a message, I get it?
It would be amazing. And there is sorta a solution for that right now. It's the Matrix protocol thingy. The most used client for it is Element, so you might know it under that name. And the cool thing about it is that it allows you to create bridges to other mostly messaging apps, because I don't think social media networks really have that many chat options. I
think it does Twitter
Facebook
DMs
Messenger and stuff.
Facebook DMs as well.
That sort of stuff, yes, but
I don't think
you won't be able to scroll through Twitter on it. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that makes sense, right? It's designed for messaging. It doesn't need to do anything else.
Yes. And most of the features also work it supports reactions, but not on all platforms. It's kind of dependent on how hard is it to actually implement the bridge, the conversion layer. If it's a super closed down system, not all the features might be available. For a long time, WhatsApp was really hard to do a bridge for, because you would do it through WhatsApp web, but as you mentioned before, you had to have it running on a phone. to send messages to WhatsApp web. So you had to have like a virtual machine of a phone running WhatsApp, running somewhere. Probably on a server that you just ran somewhere or just on your PC. But you still had to run a virtual machine with WhatsApp in it. Just to translate messages. I don't think it's the case anymore. I don't know. I haven't used it in a while.
I believe someone has told me that
yeah.
you do no longer need WhatsApp on your phone to use it on a PC. But also, I just haven't bothered since because like I'm fine, right? I'm reachable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the idea here is, right, those sort of things need interoperability. But we have an analog to that, right? This used to be a complaint, right? People are saying like, people are saying we can't break up social media companies because, right, how would this work? And the answer is, that's what the telephone company said.
Yep.
When the FTC, I believe it was, broke up, I want to say it was AT&T. One of the big American telecommunications providers, they broke up, I think, into 6 companies, and it worked just fine. Right, you can call people that have a different carrier. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Problem being that, of course, social media apps and messaging apps are a little more complex than that. Now, messaging apps are in some ways analogous to SMS, and you get some other features like reactions and that sort of stuff. But generally speaking, there's no reason why they couldn't be interoperable, at least as a general level. Then, of course, again, the specifics do get a little tricky. Social media is a bit more complicated because it's also diverse. So you could have a Facebook-like, a Twitter-like, and an Instagram-like. Well, actually, Instagram is just Twitter with pictures. But, right, you could have like different standards. The question then would be, how do you go about that, right? Because if there's interoperability protocol, then like, do you mandate a specific protocol? Who is in charge of maintaining that protocol? And those sound like difficult questions. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say 3 letters. USB. The European Union mandated compatible phone chargers. Every company now has to use USB Type-C. The USB consortium handles USB connectors. It works. It's a universal connector that various companies use. I mean, I could have pointed out other things, right? Like HDMI, DisplayPort, blah, blah, blah. VESA is the standard for mounting screens to like a wall mount or something. There are like a shit ton of those sort of standards. Protocols are a bit more complicated, and because they might also need updating, but also USB standards have updated. It works, right?
Yeah.
Like some standard is going to establish itself. If you require interoperability, someone's going to come up with a standard. It's going to work. It's just that it doesn't seem to be an incentive to creating those standards for interacting, because we just accept that social media platforms and messenger services are closed ecosystems. There is no reason why they have to be. I mean, competitive advantages obviously are a reason. They're just not a good one. They are a good one to the companies, just not to us as users. And of course, data regulations, right? Data privacy. And there are maybe some concerns there, but you can probably figure those out. It's not like most of the ecosystems.
Another reason would be that you cannot really run an algorithm on like the content you serve.
For social media, that's great.
Or like not as effectively.
That's a great.
Like for consumers, that's awesome. But from the company's perspective,
yeah, I mean, so for messaging, it doesn't really matter. But which is okay. So interesting enough, messaging is where the main privacy concerns are. Social media is where the main algorithmic concerns are. So those are actually 2 separate concerns for like the 2 separate problems. So now we have a practical issue for both of them, which is great. We need algorithms of some sort, but I think it would be cool, right? If you have like you can upload your content to like a content reservoir of some sort, like, but like everyone, like every, like, you know, YouTube hosts a server, Dailymotion hosts a server, blah, blah, blah. You have, say, your video platforms, right? There are different servers. And then there is a central protocol that can access all of them. And then you can have an app that has an algorithm that curates content for you. And then everyone can just choose which algorithm they use. I think there are actually third-party algorithms for YouTube. I think there was one.
Oh, really?
I think I saw that somewhere. I think they were, at the time when I saw it, they were still in beta or something, in closed beta, but there was something
sounds interesting.
Where they...
I will search that up later.
I don't... I might have gotten that slightly wrong, but there was something where, like, I want to say it was YouTube, where they had, like, here's the thing that we're working on so that you can actually get the kind of recommendations you want rather than whatever YouTube things you want to watch. So you have, and they had like a bunch of options where it's like, you can like, these are the things I'm interested in, right? Like you can actually like handcraft the experience rather than, again, letting it automatically decide. And I think they were like weighing, and it was very customizable. Again, at the time I saw it, I couldn't personally use it because they were, I don't know if they were internally testing or if they had like a closed beta. I don't remember exactly, but something like that. Point being,
I mean, doesn't really matter, but yeah.
We need algorithms because there's too much data without algorithms. We can't just go by like total view count or like views per hour or something like that. Those are too simple metrics to really get what you want. You also can't just go by just showing you random shit because like 99% of the things that have been uploaded to YouTube don't have any views. It's just people like using YouTube as their own like video backup. And most forget to set it private. There's actually this interesting thing that people point out where if you just want to watch, like actually like random people's videos, you just type in some like DSC, is it images or is it also videos? Like you just type in like DSC and a footage number or something. That might be images. But like, because it's like standard file names, and most people, like a lot of people just upload to YouTube default settings. So it'll have the file name as the user, as the video title without the file extension. Although I think it used to be with file extension like way back when. And by default, every video uploads as public, which I guess I kind of get that because if you required someone who just wants to upload their first YouTube video to like actually dig through the settings so that people can actually see it, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But as anyone who actually uploads videos to YouTube would want to set their default to private. So yeah, but yeah, you could do that, but it's like you have different host platforms and then you have algorithms. You have apps with algorithms or websites with algorithms that access those. Like, that is possible. And then, of course, the question will be, right, if we require that, say, all YouTube-type services are interoperable, does it just end up with YouTube having its own algorithm and its own hosting? And then it still recommends preferentially its own videos, and you're just back to where you were? So...
I mean, probably, but it would still allow for third-party algorithms to surface.
Yes. And
if one does like a really good job, then I think the market will just sort itself out.
It would probably be hard to get people in general to shift. It's that kind of thing, right? Like, look at the adoption rates of DuckDuckGo. It's still fairly low. It's arguably better than Google. People don't use it. But there is a certain subsection of people that do use it. So I think that is sort of what you would mostly see. And then it might be a fraction between like 2 or 3 ones that are considered good and maybe for different purposes, blah, blah, blah. And you could have the thing where it's like, you could subscribe to it on that service. And then maybe you have like some layer again for like data collection so that you can do stuff like maybe can do global subcounts. So it's like, oh, this person has like, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube and like 20,000 on this alternate service, and and then you add them all up. People that use multiple services, then it gets a bit complicated. But you could probably it's not technically impossible. This is all just a question of willingness to do it and correct economic or political pressures to do it. Political is basically just like political pressure is just so that regulation happens that creates the economic pressure, but because that's how our world works. But yeah, this is a possible solution to a lot of those problems, not all of them.
Yes.
Do you want to add anything on this point, or should I go on to my other main point besides interoperability?
Go on to your next point.
Bundling is actually a term in antitrust law, which I think is certainly at the very least adjacent to the more economic concept of vertical integration, right? What is supposed to go on, right? eBay owns PayPal. I don't know if that. I think that's true. It definitely used to be true. I don't know. Companies change hands, all that, but usually it's just acquisitions, not like acquiring parts of a company. Anyways, as far as I know, eBay owns PayPal. That's my point. And that means that they both have a marketplace and a payment processor. Something inherently wrong with that, but obviously you're right. Amazon is a marketplace, but they also make products. And they also give their own products preferential treatment over other products, sometimes, I think, so that's also bad. Although Amazon's choice is not necessarily always the Amazon Basics thing, so that... Anyways. They have a marketplace. They have products. They have software. I mean, mostly for their own products, like Kindle has its own operating system. I don't think they actually sell software. They sell web hosting, which you could say in some ways they're a marketplace, they host it themselves, right? So instead of having a third-party web hosting company. If I was trying to create a marketplace, right, I would have a lot to go up against. Not just because it is the biggest marketplace, but also, again, right, Amazon Basics products. Right? So even if there wasn't a product in the category, they could just make their own, although most of the time it's just that they imitate whatever is the most popular or cheap product in the category. But it's that thing where, they promote their own products while also having the marketplace. So I do think there's some things that are concerning beyond just the traditional monopoly. Ticketmaster, right? Ticketmaster is a company that sells tickets, right?
Yes.
They also, I think they own a company or are also owned by a company. I don't know how exactly ownership structures work, but they effectively are the same company as the one that like owns most stadiums, not necessarily the physical buildings, but like the venue booking stuff, right? Like the actual organizational matters. So if you want to have your concert at the stadium, then you have to also agree to sell your tickets to Ticketmaster. That sucks.
That seems rather dubious.
Right? Yeah. And this sort of stuff happens all over the place, right? You got... It seems particularly egregious with this one. I think was also a merger or like a buy-up or something. So it's not just that they created their own ecosystem. They literally had two companies merge so that they could basically monopolize each other, which is like, that's stupid. That's not how anything should work, right? So,
yep,
that seems kind of. I mean, Amazon's always the best example because like they sell you your own security systems, and that data then lands on their servers, and also like digital home assistant, whatever we call them, right? Like Alexa, and it's like it's like they have all your data. They have your purchasing decisions because you buy everything there, because it's oftentimes the cheapest place to buy and the most convenient one. They know what's happening in and around your house because they have the security cameras, and they know what you're saying. I mean, because of the cameras, but also because, I mean, a lot of people don't have Ring cameras in their house, right? So that's where the Alexas come in.
Yeah.
But like, the data has this tendency to be more useful the more you have, right? The more data points you have on one person, the more you know about them. And trust me, Amazon has all of it. I mean, Google also, because Google AdSense runs on like a lot of websites, and even the ones that don't oftentimes have Google Analytics to know like website visitor stats.
And Google Analytics is like everywhere. It's crazy.
And obviously, a lot of websites then have like Facebook comment sections you sometimes see on like other websites where it says, "Oh, comment section precursor." I mean, there's other services that do that too, like Discuss with a Q. I don't know who owns that. I just see it sometimes.
Never seen it.
The point being,
another thing I see sometimes is like Pinterest being able to like add images.
I mean, also yeah, but like
to like collections and stuff.
The point is, all of the big companies own all of their data anyways, which has nothing to do with the monopoly itself, but like that should probably be a concern. Oh yeah, did I ever mention? I know I mentioned it to you earlier, but Google owns a search engine. It owns the most popular video hosting site, and like the one ad service. Like you're not going to sell your ads through anywhere but Google AdSense, basically. If you want them all across the web, it's Google AdSense. But also, if you Google something, the first 3 results these days, I think it's genuinely like 3 results these days, are ads from Google AdSense.
Yeah.
Like
it's just bad.
If it was at least a different...
I don't understand why people still use Google.
Yeah, use DuckDuckGo. It's better. Like, it's not just the privacy concerns, right? Because if we live in a day and age where you probably have to give up your privacy. Like, if you are on the internet, you can basically forget about it. That's not good, but it seems like an unavoidable truth. Like, DuckDuckGo
I know a way how to convince people. It has dark mode.
Oh, did I mention that Google also...
I actually don't know if Google has.
I mean, not yours, Sergej, but like, Google probably makes your browser either directly or indirectly. Because either you use Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. And then what, the third most popular one is probably Firefox, which isn't. But everything else, right? I saw a post about that today where it's like, oh yeah, Opera is
Safari isn't.
What do you say?
Safari isn't.
Okay, so Apple users don't use Chrome-based browsers.
Yes.
But yeah, it's Brave.
Actually, all Apple users don't use. Because as far as I know, although that information is outdated by a couple years, browsers on Apple devices have to use WebKit.
Okay.
Was it WebKit? I think the engine that Safari uses is WebKit.
I don't know.
Anyway, all browsers on Apple devices have to use the same engine as Safari.
Okay.
As far as I know.
I mean, there used to be Internet Explorer.
I might be wrong on this.
You used to be able to use Internet Explorer on Macs.
Okay, yeah, sure, but
I don't know.
I don't think
I'm just saying there used to be an Internet Explorer for Macs, which is like the most cursed thing you can think of. Besides the fact that obviously, like a Microsoft product on an Apple device is just weird to begin with. I mean, Skype makes sense more so, but like Internet Explorer, like the world's worst internet browser, like that one had to be on there, and apparently the Apple version was worse than the Windows one.
That might be because of the WebKit thing. Although just porting it to like a completely different system probably also doesn't help. One thing I do want to mention though, I don't know when that was when you could use Internet Explorer on Apple, but there was a time when Internet Explorer was the best browser around.
Maybe
don't
that was
forget
the case.
That, please.
I don't know. I think it was long ago. I mean, it was definitely in the pre-Edge days, so like I don't know. It's just like a thing that I heard, like as an aside in the story at some point. It's I know it's true, but that's about as. Actually, I never verified that, but I have no reason to assume it's not true, and I haven't also seen anyone dispute it, so it's presumably true. But yeah.
Okay. Yep.
There is this problem that humans have where we tend to believe things. I sometimes realize that when I'm reciting something, I'm like, I never did fact check that. Like, I'm just saying something someone else said. Like that's how like common misconceptions get started.
I noticed that about myself too.
So, I mean, sometimes I, like, put a disclaimer. Sometimes I just can't be bothered because, like, honestly, a lot of things that I know I haven't really fact-checked, so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of just go hope for the best. Sometimes people correct you. I actually like being corrected as long as the person doing the correcting is actually correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's very infuriating to be corrected by someone who's actually more wrong than you are, or even when you are right and they are wrong. But like, it's particularly funny when you're both
Mhm.
wrong. But
Yes, r/confidently incorrect.
you know what the worst thing about that subreddit is? You read a post where someone said something and then someone else replied and you're like, I'm not exactly sure which one is the incorrect one. It's like, shit!
And now you have to Google it
Yeah, right?
and fact check it yourself.
Ah!
Imagine being tricked into learning stuff.
I mean, I like learning things, but yeah, no, that's,
And then you spend 2 hours in Wikipedia.
Oh, definitely. Best website. Well, definitely one of the best websites on the planet.
Mhm.
Also,
Fully agree.
for those of you that are using DuckDuckGo, I don't think it works on Google. I doubt it works on Google. If you want to look something up on Wikipedia, you can just put !W space and then your search term, and you can search it immediately on Wikipedia. Not really useful if you go to DuckDuckGo.com, then you might as well just go to Wikipedia.org. Well, en.wikipedia.org, presumably.
Yeah.
But you can do that in your like multi-bar thingamajig. If it doesn't show, like, I mean, you can also tell your browser that Wikipedia is a search engine, and then you can tab it in a Chromium-based browser. But the Brave search does it too.
Oh,
Interestingly enough.
that does actually work.
So the Brave search might just be a reskin to DuckDuckGo. Of course it works. I'm not lying. They're called bangs because exclamation marks are also sometimes called bangs. And one of them.
Yes, I thought you were talking about the browser feature.
No. I was talking about the DuckDuckGo feature, which is why you should be using DuckDuckGo as a search engine on your browser and not Google, because you can just go to a website, right? !IMDb. You're on IMDb.
I mean, you can do that on like
you're on
browsers
Wikipedia.
too.
You can
you
set
don't need
those
the search engine for
in
it.
your browser, yes, but you need to configure all of the sites you want to use that way in your browser, or you could just do it through DuckDuckGo. Which doesn't require setup, you just have to know what to type, but oftentimes it's intuitive.
I mean, as far as I know, there's like a lot of default ones for like Chrome and Firefox and like all the other Chrome derivatives.
It's probably still faster to type XLAMYT than to type youtube.com tab.
I would have loved to have a freshly installed browser right now to check what the defaults are for those, because I don't think it's like the full name.
I mean, I think as soon as it autocompletes youtube.com, you can then hit tab, and it's usually like one of the first suggestions. But if you want to do like the tab thing, it does have to like spell it out in the suggestion before you can do it. And that's how it works in Chromium browsers, of course. I don't know about Firefox. That's the other thing, right?
No clue.
I haven't used Firefox in ages. Mostly because Chrome at the very least used to be better. I think Firefox has gotten a lot better since then, but now I'm just used to it. So I use Brave because it's Chrome without a lot of the ugly stuff, and by which I mean not like visually ugly, but like.
I mean, from a security standpoint, Brave is marginally better. At least with default settings.
I saw that there was some like comparison where like Brave actually beat Firefox in like the. Yeah.
At least with default settings.
Yes. I mean, I'm not on default settings, but
yeah, me neither. But I also don't think my setup is that much more secure than a default Brave setup.
Mine,
if at all,
isn't.
I'm just used to the browser.
Significantly better either, but it probably is more easily fingerprintable because it's more unique. Because default settings is always the least unique way of using your browser, right? And I mean, certain settings can be determined from a website, thereby fingerprinting.
Mm-hmm.
But
although, again, by default, Brave has like a lot of different methods to prevent fingerprinting.
yeah, but there's also like so many methods of
Like
doing it that I'm pretty sure it doesn't work against all of that.
I'm honestly not sure.
I also don't know which ones are actually used. I know there's like an entire website, what is it, browserleaks.com or whatever, where you can like check all sorts of things about your browser or what websites see as browser information. But yeah,
Yep.
Not relevant. We're getting a bit off topic, which is normal. But unless you have anything else to say about
it happens.
tech monopolies, I think we might want to move on to our facts.
Yeah, let's move on to the facts. Staying at a technical topic, you as a Java user,
yes,
programmer, you do know what math.random does in Java, right?
I believe it generates a number between 0 and 1, 0 inclusive, 1 not inclusive?
Yes.
Exactly,
yes. And as you know, like pseudo-random number generators, they generate consecutively. If you know the seed, you can predict what comes next.
Yes.
And if you have enough values, you can also like crack the seed.
Yes.
For the random number generator. Well, a small group of people have recently done that in Minecraft. Fully in Minecraft. They measure the math.random outputs, save them, and compute the seed through those. All fully within Minecraft with redstone.
Oh,
crazy.
Shit.
Yes.
I know that.
And they only need 7 measurements.
Okay. I know that there's a lot of stuff that people have found out about, like reverse engineering Minecraft stuff. I mean, we have the code. You don't necessarily need to reverse engineer that much, but
yeah.
And like telling if like certain things are possible or not, and blah blah blah. Because I've seen a couple of videos on like Minecraft speedrun cheating, which is fascinating. But yeah, no,
it really is.
When you say in Minecraft, you mean in Minecraft. That is
yes.
Wow.
And it actually runs at a reasonable FPS.
What does that mean,
takes
Sergej? Like what does reasonable mean?
4 to 5 minutes from start of measurement to like computing the seed.
That is not bad.
Yeah. And like with FPS, that doesn't answer the FPS question. It obviously depends on the computer that's running it. And can't really answer that.
The time that the calculation takes does depend on your TPS, which should often be at 20, but isn't always.
Yeah. I think it's like close to 20. At least on the demonstration videos I've watched. I have not run it myself.
My understanding is that TPS literally cannot go above 20, so if
you can change it through commands, but yeah.
By default. And so if you
default.
If you have TPS lag, then obviously it can only go down.
So yeah, that was my fact of the week. I can throw in a bonus fact because I don't think I will ever mention that otherwise. It is now feasible to store 16 kilobytes of data in Minecraft in reasonable space.
Okay.
That is also relatively easy to read and write from.
Okay, so it's basically actual like storage. You can write any number of any combination of bits in there that have in total the size of 16 KB.
Like basically just 16 kilobytes of RAM, which, by the way, is more than was needed to send people to the moon.
Well, yes, but also I wouldn't bank on NASA switching over to running these things in Minecraft. Honestly, I could see NASA like making a Minecraft map that like does some of that stuff, because like one of their big things is outreach.
That would be so cool.
NASA's like very big on outreach, right? Because like they barely get funding, and they really need to remain popular to like get anything done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, storing 16 kilobytes of data was technically possible before, because the world is really big.
I mean,
but like right now it is like actually feasible to do it.
I mean, you could just
like render distance.
I mean, you could just encode everything in basically block IDs. I mean, I don't think they even use block IDs anymore, but just basically assigning different blocks numbers and just being like.
But how do you check them?
By hand.
Like it needs to be redstone. Well, no.
Yeah, no. I mean, I assumed it was like a redstone computer type thing, because obviously,
yeah,
you can just be like, hey, we have 256 different blocks, and every one of these thereby encodes like how many bytes is about my bad at math right now? 64 bytes? No, that doesn't sound right.
What?
64.
Wait.
If you have 256 different blocks, then each block can encode 8 bytes of data, or 256
bits.
64 bytes, which is 256 bits.
I am not following anymore.
256 divided by 8 is 64.
Values. Wait, is it?
I believe. Because 8 times 6 is 240, so that seems about right.
Wait. 2/5 divided by 8. It's 32.
That's just...
Yeah, 64 is a bit much.
Right, never mind. I was off. Point being. Off by 1, sort of. In the orders of magnitude, I was off by 1.
Yes.
So, that's an acceptable mistake to make for a computer science person. So right. I literally walked it back. I was like 256, 128, 64, and I should have known this. Obviously, 32. So if you have 256 different possibilities of what a block can be, you can effectively encode 32 bytes or 256 bit. No, wait, 256 different numbers, which is not how bits work. Never mind. I got all sorts of things. Point being, it's not just 1 0. It is actually. My fact of the week is also very technical, or rather scientific. Have you heard of the greenhouse effect?
Yes.
So that's why the Earth is burning. The point... Okay, not entirely, but it is obviously increased temperatures are contributory to forest fires. Not because of the temperatures themselves, but mostly because of droughts. Forest fires are caused by one thing part, but mostly by direct sun impact. But if the trees are drier, they burn more easily, which does obviously relate to the temperature, but something indirectly. Anyways, nobody was talking about greenhouse effect, right? It was proposed by Joseph Fourier in 1824.
Yep.
In 1856, Eunice Newton Foote demonstrated that the warming effect is greater for air with water vapor than dry air, and the effect is even greater with carbon dioxide. Then John Tyndall was the first to measure the infrared absorption of various gases and vapors from 1859 onwards. Then there was Svante Arrhenius, I don't speak Swedish, who made the first quantitative prediction of global warming due to he calculated for if you doubled the amount of carbon dioxide, how much warmer there would be. And the term greenhouse was used for this phenomenon by Neil Gustav Ekholm, again, don't speak Swedish, I think it's Swedish, first in 1901. And it was first, the greenhouse effect was first, the greenhouse effect and its impact on climate were succinctly described in a 1912 Popular Mechanics article meant for reading by the general public. So the general public should have known about this, or has known about sound capacity, for over 100 years. And it's been worked on, like, the theory has been first proposed, next year it's 200 years ago. How are we still fucking this up?
That is insane. I hadn't realized it's that old news.
Yeah, you were like, oh, I remember Al Gore talking about it, but like it's not that old, right? I was like, yeah, no. We knew about this.
Crazy.
Like, we knew, like, the general public should have been aware of human-caused global warming for over 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, which brings us to our halftime show, Square. What else am I supposed to say? It's frustrating, but it's not helpful to be frustrated. Okay, and we decided we're gonna start with a fun word. It's an acronym to be precise. Lasers. Okay, what does laser mean?
Do you mean the acronym?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation.
Yes, thank you.
So,
we hit the T.
We have no I or C, like, at all. What's funny was, like, tonic, like, in both directions when, well, in one direction, the T, and then the other one not, but then it's like 2 whites and then 2 blacks. It's like, okay, great. There's a lot of negative information on N's. Not quite enough to bend it down, but there's quite a bit already. We have
that is true. Yes.
We have an intersection of A's, but that doesn't have to mean anything.
The intersection of S's, though, that seems kind of likely. ST.
I mean, ST, and then, I mean, this one being TA would also not be that far-fetched. We have an E and an R, but
both in the first column, which is interesting.
3 letters of the first column. I don't think we could do the thing where we enter like 2 words and we have the solution.
I don't think so, no.
Which is basically what we did last week almost.
Not this time.
But...
yes.
S-E-R, no A-T and L. It's scree. No, actually, scree ends with double E. That doesn't work. Also, I still hate that scree is a solution for some reason. Like, I don't want to PS always feel like they shouldn't be solutions. I don't know. Where was I going with this? Right. Resin. It could be resin. Oh no, wait, no eyes. Fuck. It would have been so good if it was resin, though. It was just like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Oh wait, actually, resin would be stupid because then the other word up here was up with RT. We said we wanted an S there.
Yeah.
Surfs. I'm not saying it's the word. I'm saying it could technically be surfs. We don't have much else, do we?
Nope.
We don't need to try out N's. We will want to try an O somewhere, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in this next guess. Definitely no S's, definitely no N's. And obviously no I's and C's.
And you would want to try U's.
We want to try U's, we might want to try O's, just not in second position. We might want to try some of the other letters we haven't tried yet, so...
The next one in order are M, D, G, H. That, like in order of frequency, from the ones we haven't tried yet.
Okay, hear me out. How about ghoul? I know I skipped over some there, but I skipped over M and D basically, and then went straight to G, H, and L. But
I do like it. Yep, let's go with it.
We do have the O that I said we wanted to test. We have the U that you said we want to test, and we have L's which we have tried already, but we
already
haven't
tested.
Tried
but
here. We only know that it's not in the first row or column.
Mm-hmm.
No H's?
Mm.
We have some interesting information about O's. We have a U. Interestingly enough, this does make OU a very feasible thing. As a matter of fact, even OUL could be right somewhere, just not here.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, if we look at where the U's intersect, O, because, I mean, listen, right? The O can't go there. Could go there, but like, come on.
The problem is
U, L?
this row also has to have an E.
Yeah, because
which might be hard to fit.
It's emole. It's epole. It's I don't know, but it can't be in the first. Okay, so it has EOU. I mean, what is this, French? Like, why not? It's sir. That's 5 letters and has an EOU in there. Well, it's not really EO. Well, it's OE, but it's also like squished together. It's one letter. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best idea. Also, it can end in R, but I'm also not being serious, anyways.
Yeah.
Cool. It has the same problem. Okay, so maybe no O's there, but we definitely have an E and a U in that row.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring up some questions. Like, are we putting them next to each other, or are we separating them? I'm leaning towards separating, but together definitely works.
Yep.
Like UE, I don't know about EU, but I'm pretty sure UE. UE definitely works. Like in do, ru, glue, su.
Yeah, I am a fan of putting the U in like the second to last spot where they intersect.
Then the question is, do we put the E there? And come up with a long enough word that does have that, right? Again, right, like, the longest word I came up with so far is glue, which has 4 letters, with UE at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But there could also be a lot of words that have just an unrelated U and E.
Yes.
Although, it would be the question of, because if we don't put them together, it goes there, right? Basically. I mean, that's if we don't put them together in any combination, it is there, where the E goes. Because it can't be in first, and if you don't put it next to the U, then it's the only spot left. Now I'm wondering what are the words that fit that ordering. Because it almost feels like 2 syllables if you put the E there. Or like B something, D something, right? Like, but like 3-letter word with a U in the middle. Besides all of the ones that I said, like su, ru, du, right? Like, not exactly rud, maybe. Rut, with a T actually. But like, just, is it one T? Is it two T's? And I mean, there's definitely not B rut, D rut, like those are not words.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to make that one syllable? Like a 5-letter word with 2 vowels? It seems rough. I mean, there are definitely words that have U something E, right? Like mule, nude, right? Like
Flower.
What do you say?
Flower. As in, like, the Flour.
Flower. It does have an E.
Yeah.
But
oh yes, but like that is one 5-letter word that I think is one syllable.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, the 2 separate vowels make it very hard for it to be one syllable if we put them like this.
Yes.
That's what I was getting at, right? Like, having 2 separate vowels in a one syllable word is unlikely, and if there is a syllable break, it's presumably after the E. Which then means we need a 3-letter word with the U in the middle, which is not as easy as it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
All I was getting at is basically, maybe the E does go there, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the problem that we need 3 letters before that. Ensu, how is that spelled? Oh, no E's, obviously. And no N's. And did you realize how all 3 letters that I just said can't go there? But like in a vacuum, ensu.
Awesome.
Right, as in to commence. Ensu happened. So it started happening. That is spelled E-N-S-U-E, right?
I think so.
Just as a...
My spelling immediately goes out the window when we start playing Wordle.
I know,
or
right?
Squirtle, for some reason.
The point I was getting is not necessarily that it would be correct here. Although I was very disappointed when it didn't work, but my point was that it is generally possible for us to have a 5-letter word ending in UE.
Yep.
Yes, it's all the 4-letter ones, right? Like glue, blue. Are there words that have an EU in English? Intuitively, it would make an oi sound, so that sounds like it would exist, but that might just be because of names like Euler, the mathematician, who obviously very much wasn't English, so...
Yep. The only words I can come up with are names of things. Like they're named after something.
Yeah, right. It's again, right, Euler. But because if it is true that EU as letter combination is not possible, then the E has to go in one of the 2 spots where I tried it. It literally can't be in first, and if the U is correct, I mean, it can't be where the U is anyways, but assuming the U is correct, it definitely can't be there. So It would almost have to be UE, or again the weird situation with the
Feud. I think has
feud.
EU.
FEUD. Damn. The worst part is that answers the question, because obviously you can't really prove a negative. That does, however, make life harder for us, because that means it could technically go there, maybe.
Yeah.
Feud. Feud is FEUD. And then fuel is FUEL.
Yep.
Because fuck the English language. And then fuse is FUSE. Because you're just trying to fuck with me at this point. I was just trying to go with like, if we have feud, then maybe you have some other fuse, and it's like, well, few is FEW because now we're in a different ballpark, right? But like, even the ones that actually have a U and an E are all in different orders. Feud, FEUD, fuel, FUEL, fuse, FUSE. It's like 4-letter words, start with an F, and have a U and an E, and they're all pronounced basically the same, except for the one letter that's different, but it's also in a different spot every time. Ah! This still bugs me. The inconsistency of the spelling of the English language is part of what makes this so possible, right? Because otherwise you just go with rhymes and whatnot and you figure it out pretty quickly. But I mean, if we go that doesn't seem likely. I don't know. See, it's only a 5-letter word that does it. But again, right, ensue is the only UE 5-letter word I come up with. And most of the ones that have a like
I'm feeling less and less confident about the U being there.
Right, because I said like fuse and mule and nude, right? They all have U consonant E.
The unisecond.
I mean, obviously, yeah, you could probably like prude, right? PRUDE. Like, you can have it be 5 letters because you can replace the beginning consonant, obviously, with 2 consonants. That almost always works, right? You have, like, tar becomes sar. Right? Like, you could almost always replace a beginning consonant, if it's a single consonant, with 2 consonants. Kind of like how you can often replace a single vowel with like an OU or a double O or something.
Mm-hmm.
I did say a 5-letter word that worked. Well, I said a couple, right? Wait, no, I didn't. I said only one. What did I say? Oh, prude. 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 Oh. PRUDE. Which is technically allowed. Wait, no, it's not. The U is in the wrong place.
What?
Fuck. Never mind.
Okay.
So, U in third position is not useful. Which is where the U's in my mind go. Because if it's a 5-letter word and it ends in... Then in my mind it doesn't start with consonant U, consonant E, but it ends that way, right? So that was a double consonant. But it can't, so we said mule. Well, I mean, it could be like mules, nudes, right? Like all the other ones I said, right? Like the what was I said the third one, but it doesn't really matter. Ruder, as in more rude. Well, okay, no. But actually, no, it can't be ER at the end though, or E for that matter. Wait, so If we put it in second, if we put the U in second, then it feels like the E should go there. But it can't. But if we put the E there, it almost feels like the U should not be there. Because, again, oftentimes they're separated by one singular consonant. But like none of those work. Because now the U is in an illegal spot. Again, right? Prude puts U in the wrong spot. Nudes puts the E in the wrong spot. Mules, right? Like, whatever. Ruder. Well, ruder is bad because it ends in an R as well, but... neuter is too long. I was gonna say neuter, like as in neutering a dog, because that is, I believe, is Neuter, but it's 6 letters.
Yep. Also another EU word.
That had occurred to me. Neutral is also so all of the ones that start with newt, right? Like with neutral. I mean, I guess neuter is like. Actually, I don't know if that counts from neutral. I'm not sure if that has a related root or if that has something to do with. Neutre. Anyways, I mean, we do need an N somewhere. N, EU. That does work anyways. Even if we found one that was 5 letters, the U can't go there.
Pneumatic also has EU.
And
doesn't fit at all. But
no, but it does have EU in spots where the E and the U can go.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
but not the N.
Not the N is the problem, so we can't just go for like what is it, pneumona or whatever, like the are like other terms. I mean, that's just still too long, but like pneumatic. PNEU. Right. I said ruder before, now I'm thinking ruler, but it's still, again, ER at the end, right? It's like, it just does not work. Yeah, instead of the ruler, it could also be someone who ruled. Now it's just E that's wrong. See, I'm getting closer.
Hey, what about... Hear me out here. What about we start the word with a U?
Oh, like, un? Oh, wait, it can't be un. But, you know, like...
Yeah.
Urgent. Not it, but like...
Yeah.
Urge. I mean, urge is a word. I mean, again, right, the E doesn't work there, but we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Wait, but then we need a second letter that is not an N, which is... I'm thinking of all the unwords. Is something, but it doesn't seem like it would be like a... I mean, urge is obviously a word, but like it's also like the... You know, like the dragon. Right? Like just a... I actually have more of a German origin, but it does exist in English in some cases where it's as a prefix for like something original, old. But that doesn't help because then you'd have to go almost immediately E unless you want to go E in the end. You could go something like that, but... For some reason, my mind was always like, there must be something with UM, right? Because, the thing I was actually thinking about was IN sometimes becomes IM, right? It's not always inauthentic, it's also immaterial.
Yeah.
It's impersonal, right? It's not... That's unpersonal, it's apersonal, but it's also impersonal, I think. Not impersonal, right? But that doesn't work with... You can't do that with you. Up, like an upgrade, or uptown, or just up. Upset. Fuck, the E's in the wrong spot again! Ah! And the S. But the P and the T would work.
That is true.
Upend. I don't know that we want to go guessing much longer. This is legal.
Just go for it. Go for it.
Well, we now know we also need an N, and the U and the E are both not in that spot. Wait, and the N can only be in first or last? Am I seeing that right? Yeah.
Yep.
And the E can only be in second or last.
That's correct.
And
God,
the U feels
what
like
is
it really
this
wants to be
word?
there. Right?
Yeah.
I was like this close to just saying out loud enum, but they're just like all sorts of wrong. There are so many words that have multiple vowels, one of which is an E. Third row, fourth row, but then also... Well, okay, fourth column. And actually, also third column. So there's 4 of the words have 2 vowels, one of which is an E. Actually, no, never mind. Fourth column does not have an E. That's the other way around. And so it has 3 words that have 2... But still, it's a lot. I mean, I'm feeling I don't know why.
Rerun.
Because I was like, my mind always goes like redone, but it's like, no, that's D-O-N-E, right? It doesn't work. But like rerun, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, unless it's regun, no, it literally can't be. But like, it was a stupid joke anyways, but like, it also literally can't be. So,
Mm-hmm.
The E looks like it wants to be there. I mean, obviously, not exactly the only place it can be, but... I don't know, we already have the S placed. Stern. Oh no, wait, it can't be a T. I was gonna say spurn, but that's a U, not an E. Swerve is too long. Wait, skirt is an I. Let me get this as mentally. Sphere. Seer? No. Stir, we tried. That's not gonna happen. Sewer, no. So, no. Sperm. It could be sperm.
Could be. Would fit.
Slur. No, slurs are all spelled with U. Sire. Spur. Snur. Smur. I mean, the row wants a P. And that's part of why I ended it immediately, right? It's like, I came up with sperm independently of the P being there just because I was brute forcing. Like, based off of my guess of the E and the R, I was brute forcing what this letter could be, because if you have a word that starts with something then you can probably figure out what the last letter is, or what it could be, relatively quickly. Last letters are usually the easiest to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, middle letters are always a trickier. But then the P came and it worked, so... What about spur? Like spurious? It doesn't matter. Okay. We want an... I think we want an A there, maybe. I mean, it could be there with EA.
Seems likely.
And AE also both working, but then we'd also need one here. Okay. I'm gonna say this is not a G.
Yep.
This is definitely not a G. Because it literally is not allowed to be. Words ending in G, that's a thing. It doesn't have to be quite as egregious as egg, which ends in double G. But, red egg, neg. N-E-G. Reg is short for regular, but that might not be the best guess. Stag, right, ends in G. That's plausible. And GN is sadly also plausible, right? Like in rain or something like that. I was really hoping I could exclude G from being there, because then it would have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of. Would have to be there. I like it there. Which is O would have to be there. Maybe I don't like the G there. But if I say that this can't be a G, which, admittedly, not 100% sure, but tag, like that does seem odd. I mean, tagger as someone who sprays graffitis, but that's double G. I think. Now the question is, does it end in go, like ego, or ergo, or does it end in OG, like in grog? and really only grog, right? And that's something to drink. So blog, vlog. Or just log, for that matter. Okay, so words do end in OG.
Mm-hmm.
But they also end in GO. I mean, at least if they're Latin. Well, and go, the word obviously ends in GO, but that... Oh, it almost feels like it might be an exception. You look like you were about to say something.
I'm just trying out letters that could fit in that spot after the E. Or like TA something E. That also fits for a word starting with the E in that letter.
Like tear. Oh, that's not actually good. Right. So you basically, the question is which I could go here, which I would probably approach by just again doing the hard the brute forcing thing. Z, like in taser. Is this what the Z or is this with an S? Because I want to say taser with a Z. It sounds about right. Don't ask me what first starts with EZ, but I mean, also it can't literally be taser because M. Actually, this wants to be a vowel, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. I feel like the A should go there instead.
Yeah. That makes it harder to write letters there, though. I mean, it still needs another vowel.
No H's are allowed.
Oh, TH and PH, that would have been really good. Like, this feels like there should be a vowel here, but then it's just an H. That would have been great.
I mean, R also works.
Yes, although, what comes after TR? I mean, this is EA, so it can't quite be 3, but TH vowel works, but TR vowel seems a bit questionable. Mm-hmm. And if it can't be TR vowel, it's not going to be triple vowels at the end. I'm pretty sure. This ain't French, you know?
Yeah.
So, then if it isn't, if this isn't a vowel, then this is. Which means it can be an A, or an E, or a U. No I's in general. I mean, I guess it could be a Y, like in the British spelling of tire and Python. But that seems like a stretch. Using Y's as anywhere else besides like at the end of the word usually seems like a stretch. Not saying it doesn't happen, but as in the two examples I gave. I kind of like an I there. Oh no, maybe can't have eyes.
This is a tough one.
I mean, I still like the A, but it's like,
yeah, I'm kind of starting to like it again there, but I just can't think of anything.
That seems worse. Ta we ta re ta ti ta zi ta pi ta zi ta fi ta ji ta gi ta ji ta ki ta li ta yi taxi ta vi ta bi ta ni ta mi. And now with a rather than a. Tewi, Terry, Tatey, Tazy, Tapey. Tapey sounds almost like a word, but I think it's like Taipei and TP that are in my head. Tazy, well, Taffy, Tagi, Taji, Taji, Takey, 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 is it someone that has been taken?
Oh.
Tally. Tally spelled the Y, right?
Double L.
Double L and then a Y.
Yeah.
Not. Yeah. Taxi. Yay. Taby. Taney. Like a detainee. Oh, that's what have an I. Tammy. Tammy. Someone has been tamed. My best words right now. I mean, obviously, if it ends in EA, it's basically gonna be the same, just pronunciation wise. It's not gonna change that much if it's EA or EE. If it's EU, it will change a bit, or EY. To lay? To weigh? To ray? To tay? To zay? To pay? To zay? To fay? To gay? To jay? To k? To lay? To yay? To say? To vay? To bay? To nay? To may? I was actually, when I put in some of the letters, I was actually trying to figure out if I could put in all of the letters that we have so far, but I kind of ended up getting a little distracted. And this one simply is an E, which is not going to go there, I'm assuming. Eog. Ari at the end would work. Could be there. Could be there. Seems unlikely. I mean, that would make this word almost guaranteed to be British, but doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. That seems far-fetched. Oh, right. Actually, this doesn't have to be an M.
Wait, what was the other one?
That feels worse. No, wait, it can't be an R. Also, that was fine. Okay, let's see. I don't know if there's another one necessarily. I was thinking spurious, I think is the word spurious. But, let's see. Okay, the P was also mostly a guess, but it felt like a good guess at the time. Spurt, like a growth spurt is a U, I'm pretty sure. Or like a blood spurt for that matter.
Yeah.
Spurs. Those are also spelled with a U. Spurp. Spurs. Spurf. Spurg. Spurch. Sperry. Spurk. Spurl. Spurl. Speary. Sperry. Spurks. Spurv. Spurb. Spurn. Spurn. Spurn is also with a U. No, I think if the P is correct, it probably has to be an M. I mean, a lot of that is still contingent on other letters being correct as well, right? Like, I have no guarantee for the E being there, and the R is only there because of rerun, and the S is only there because we liked ST. Right, so a lot of that first column is still very tenuous.
Oh yeah.
The O cannot be in the second row. It also isn't currently. I mean, we don't have it in rerun, and it doesn't seem like a word would end in RO. So that means it would have to be an O there, which brings up an interesting question of like, what is this, right? Because like, store, stole, stork, right? None of those work. Stonk. Actually, stock.
No C's.
Ah, well, it was too good to be true. Stomp.
That works.
P something GN seems. Yeah, no, this is wrong. Like, something here is wrong. This is kind of like when you. The problem is, I'm so invested in some of these things by now. Like, it would feel like restarting Sudoku, which I hate doing that. But like,
Yeah.
M something OUR seems questionable, and P something GN also seems questionable, so. It's much like Stomp, it's probably not Stomp. Stows. That's worse. No, ours. Stot. No. Stows. No. Stop. Stop. Stops. Stops. Stops.
Maybe stoop.
Stoop, and then it's. Then we're still. I mean, we're still with a P there, which I didn't particularly like, and O something OUR. Doesn't seem that much. I mean, it does seem better, but
Wait, how is odor spelled? Just ODOR, right? Oh, no D's anyway. Okay, never mind.
no D's, but I think odor would have worked at the very least in Britain. That's one of those things where I think it might have been Americanized without the U, but I'm pretty
Okay.
sure I'm pretty sure I've seen odor with OU. Odor, well, that's EU, but so where was I going? That's right. Stops. Right, I didn't like that. Stuff. Stoke? Stock. Soy. Stocks. Stove. Oh, no E's. Stop. Stone, also no E's. Also no N's there. Storm, I tried that earlier. Stomp is the only one that I can figure out that works. Well, and stoop.
A double F there does not work. That is not an English word, right?
That is German.
Yeah.
German means fabric.
Yep. Could be stool. No, cannot be. Nah.
Okay, stoor, stoot, stoop, stews, stoof, stoop, stewy, stook, stewy, stooks, stove, stoob, stoon, stoom. The problem is, the GN mods that I come up with, but the only example I come up with is rain, which is EI.
Mm-hmm.
Linie. Yeah, it doesn't work in English. I'm trying to think. There aren't that many GNs, so that does seem odd. Problem is, I didn't like.
I mean,
I didn't like GUR that much. Is the problem? Unless augur, but I mean, it doesn't really work up here. But could it be an O there? A-U? And the A doesn't have to be there? You might have wanted one there, you said before?
Mm-hmm.
Maori? Oh, no, that doesn't... No eyes. Well, AO seems maybe... Right now I'm deciding between this being AO and this being OA, which is not great. So maybe... I mean, this doesn't have to be there. Wow. I just... No, never mind. UA doesn't seem like AU is obviously possible. Would have to be PS, PR, PN. Doesn't seem likely. So then the A does go there. I had the O now there, which does technically work. Still an E for this one as well. It could be there, E row, like in hero. Z row. Can't go up there. Seems unlikely. Oh, actually, no, wait, E. This isn't... Well, this can't literally not be. This can literally not be... I mean, this one almost has to be an L. Because this column needs an L. And unless it's where we try ring run, it has to be up here because it can't be there and it can't be down there. So it's either where the N is, which is not... Which you can't rule out yet, but... Or this. If augur is... Wait, there literally can't be an A up there. Augur is definitely wrong. What happens if I
didn't even notice.
I'm gonna go with Papal is wrong. That just seems like a stretch. On so many levels. It would be a nice guess right now if we were in the second row, because we could probably figure out where the P and the A go at that point. But
Yep.
obviously, Pero.
I mean, you mentioned Maori as a potential guess for the fifth row.
Yeah, but there's no eyes.
Even, I mean, still, we would either confirm so many things with it,
or disqualify. You just want to guess it despite the fact that it's probably not right. Oh, it's definitely not right.
Yes.
Okay.
Just, it's not even a thing. Okay.
It's a population. It's a native population of New Zealand, but I think they might not do. They might not do peoples and places. They definitely don't do places, so they probably don't do peoples.
Yep.
I mean, grr. LGN.
That seems rather unlikely.
Which I guess is why the O would have to be here, unless the N is wrong. And which, if the O is there, the G is there, right? That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
This E is more of a guess, admittedly. Well, it can't go up there, but it could go there, I guess. Which, I don't love that. Could go down here as well, but then we'd have to put the O there, which is what I had before. This is basically back to where we were like a bit ago.
Yep. Do you have any reasonable guess about the last row? Because I'm like totally lost right now. So we can just disqualify something. Like the M is a good starting thing to see if sperm is correct.
Which at this point I'm by no means confident in.
Yeah, the A in second spot might be useful to see where the A in the column goes. Yeah, the E in the
the E's in the
third column is
E and
not
the R are both in the
as useful. Yeah.
So Maker was not a great move, but could probably do something with this. I don't know, masks. It's terrible. Also, the S there doesn't work. Not that it had to, but
maybe marks. Like if
that does test for an R that we kind of wanted. Test for K, which we haven't had that many yet, but test for. Sure. It's a bunch of new arrows, which I guess is what we wanted, huh? Okay, wait. This one needs an R.
It's not an. It's not sperm.
There. This is one of two spots that the R can only go. Yes, that is true. As a matter of fact, this says S-E-R and nothing. Okay, we yeah.
I mean, the E is also just a guess.
Yeah, based on the intersections, but it is still a guess, yeah. This one definitively needs an. Well, we already knew this needs an A, but this also needs an A, which could go there. This one has S-A-R. Okay. A can't go there. A could go can't go here because that's where we had guessed it. Could go there. Could go there. Could also go there. That's where they intersect. That seems the most likely almost. Needs an R, which could also go there, but also there. Era is a word. Problem is... Spear would be a legal word, right? Technically. Oh no, wait, the R can go in the back.
No.
Because the R can only go, yeah. Well, it's not Sparrow.
Also, P cannot go there.
Fair. Fucking hell, it's getting too late. We've also been going at this very long.
For a while. It's a tough one this time.
This is...
Also, I think Stomp in the first row is correct.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll see it's M. Okay, this does currently say Plona, which,
Sounds like a word.
I'm pretty sure it isn't, though. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna... you could go there, right? Fucking hell. You looks good there, though. Does it? Actually, Mugger would be double G. Okay. Major. Magus? If we say the M is correct...
Yep.
And the G... We wanted one of those two spots, and we said GO is probably better than OG, although... The U is where they intersect the hints, and also there's not that many spots that the U's can go, so it's about 3 spots in both cases, but there's a lot of punting here.
Yep.
And this row does need an S. Okay. Wait, A can't go there. Well, it would have to go there then, so it would have to... Okay, so this needs an A. If Magus is correct, which... then it can't be there because that's where the S is. It can't be where the A hint here is. It can't be there. So... Wait, what was I looking at actually? Oh yeah, right. So it could go here actually as well. And then if that is true, then R, which... Right, I just had it because there needs to be an A in here. Which I did put the L there, so... Could be there. I mean... Whoops. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so L there, and then the A would have to be there. It's starting to feel
Do we want to try Stomp?
Oh, right, sorry. Yes, it's Stomp.
Okay, at least it is correct.
And we got another O, and we need an R.
Which we didn't have before.
And then E there, which means it's... So, something doesn't seem... CO doesn't seem likely. So it's almost... Okay. There was a P hint.
Yep.
There is a P hint. It's definitely Spore. It's basically guaranteed to be Spore. Okay.
It is.
You know what? Let me quickly, let me just because I can, let me get rid of everything except for the Spore and the Stomp.
Just clean slate, yes. God.
Okay, this needs an A in one of the middle 3, but it could be any of those theoretically. The P we have. Okay, this needs a G, which legally isn't allowed to go there, but it could go there. and in any of the last two. So it's still 3 spots. It's not useful. O. Can't go there. Could go in
We already have one.
Oh, we already have one. Never mind. E. Can't go in this column, obviously, but that's where the hint was. Can go there. Can go there. Can go there. So that's not useful. That's it. Okay, this hand needs an E, which can only go there or there, which is still 2 spots. And at this point, as much as re is tempting, I'm not too certain that N cannot go there. Not go there, and not go there, so it's basically guaranteed to be there. Unless... Which puts the E there. And the U there. Which makes this rerun. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we wanted rerun, we got rerun, right? We can't be too mad about that.
That is true.
A can't go in any of those 3, I believe. I mean, it kind of seems like it wants to be there, but it seems like a weird spot to put it. R can't be in the back, but it could still be in here or in there. And starting with doesn't seem necessarily particularly likely, but ending in is definitely very possible. Okay, columns. A has to be one of those two. OA seems odd, so I'm putting it there. We have E. Well, that doesn't seem like a good spot for an E. Well, actually, no, wait. This also could be. This seems like the best one then.
Yep, agree.
I'm putting it tentatively there, but it's not as strong. The argument there wasn't that strong. U could go there, or could be there where we have it. Okay, never mind. Nothing else. A can't be here, obviously. It could be there or at the end. Oh, fuck! It seems like everything's pointing at the A being at the end, but I don't like that. Omega. Boom.
Hey.
We do need a G there. And then this one is like tamer or something. Like more tame, you know? I said I like the R there, and now I like it even more. Can't be tamed because we have no Ds. It could be tames. Gonna put the R away. Could be tames.
Yep.
Why can this not be an O? This is so annoying. I was gonna go mogul, but it can't be mogul. It could still be magus. It does seem like we had more correct earlier than I thought. Because magus and rerun both work together with the new omega. Oh god, if I had more correct than I thought before, this could still be papal.
Could be.
Opera.
That's erase.
And that's plain. I had papal
Fucking
in there.
hell.
We had rerun. I had magus. We had like.
You also had stomp.
Yeah, we had most of it. We somehow didn't put it together.
God. Just gonna blame it on the hour.
Yes, we are recording this way late.
Yep.
Stomp,
1:40 a.m. right now.
Omega, rerun, erase, spore, tamer, opera, magus, and plain. Those are all words that we very confidently know. Okay, magus is a bit odd, you would say mage these days, but you get the idea. Or wizard, actually. Oh boy.
Sorcerer.
Let's answer 3 open-ended questions and then do our songs and be out of here.
Let's go.
How should governments fix widening income gaps in countries that have them? Also, as a side note, name countries that don't have them. Okay, widening, maybe not all the countries, but there are definitely gaps everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, obviously, higher marginal tax rates for the rich. Just tax the rich. Also, social security systems, right? Like you want social healthcare, free college, UBI maybe, universal basic income. That could be just a general thing that could help. But also, just any social security program helps the people at the bottom. Higher taxes for the rich people hurts the people up top, brings them closer together. Also, I've heard an interesting argument. You can literally like everything past $1 million in income, for example, you could tax 95% and literally just burn the money and it would still help. You don't have to actually reinvest it into social programs, although you should. But just by virtue of rich people not being able to make as much money, they'll be then more likely to reinvest that money, because if it's invested, that's an expense that can be deducted from your profits, right? So it's not a profit. And if profits get taxed, right, corporate profits as well, if they get taxed very highly, then you're more likely to reinvest the money, which also helps people.
That is an interesting idea.
I mean, it's been done.
Never heard it before.
That's literally like countries used to have higher tax rates for rich people, like for a long time, and then lobbying happened and it just disappeared, right? Like Reaganomics, right? Like the freaking Ronald Reagan and his trickle down economics. It's like a lot of bullshit comes from. Like before that, the US, for example, did used to have fairly high tax rates. I'm pretty sure the UK under Thatcher used to have pretty high tax rates as well for the rich, and well, I mean Thatcher, right? But yeah, no, the stuff like that, I think, yeah, I mean that is like the biggest thing is just tax the rich, and almost as a second thing, social security systems, right? Like those, but
yeah,
helping the poor is important, but hurting the rich, and I put that in air quotes because it doesn't actually hurt them in any meaningful way, but like reducing their income is actually in some ways more important. Obviously, that also means that you'd have to close certain tax loopholes where a lot of rich people don't have any income, right? Because they get paid in stock bonuses, and then stocks only accrue tax if you sell them, I think, maybe even not that, right? It's a whole thing where I think if you sell them that is taxed because then it's income, but you don't sell your stocks when you want to buy something, you take out a loan with the taxes as with the stocks as security, and then just pay the loan back. And it's an obligation, so if you have money, then that goes into that. Close some of those loopholes that rich assholes used to not be able to pay taxes at all, or not have to pay tax at all. And then also, on top of that, also increase their tax rates in general.
Yep.
Also corporate taxes. Anything else you want to add to that? Because I think I probably...
No, not at all. I am way out of my depth here.
Why are games
question.
fun? That is maybe more a question for you. You like games. Why are games fun?
They let you do things that you cannot do in real life. And make stuff simpler. Like owning a house.
In this economy, I mean, okay, number one, and this is the stupid explanation, right? Because they're designed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not asking that, but that is definitely something that's worth mentioning. The other thing is, because they give us a sense of accomplishment, I think is probably one of the bigger ones, where games have objectives, generally speaking, and when you reach those objectives, you feel happy about that, because humans are wired to accomplish things. And, yeah, the taps into that reward. Obviously, gambling also fun. gambling addiction isn't very fun, but also it does still trigger the serotonin and blah, blah, blah. That is with the anticipation of randomness that does play into a lot of games as well, but I think the big one is just, whenever you get that quest done or whenever you get a level up, right, you feel a sense of accomplishment. And not all of those are necessarily things that are hard-coded into the game, where like the game tells you, oh, you accomplished something. Sometimes it's just a goal you set for yourself within the game. But those are still, oftentimes, as you said, right, they're more achievable than real life, right? Even when buying a house is attainable for you, that's still a process, right? And if you work towards buying a house in a game, you might be able to do that in like a day or two. It's gonna be a lot faster. Yep. Okay, this was interesting. When was the time that politeness or good manners have gotten you into trouble? Sergej, answer the question.
I'm trying to think of anything.
I mean, for me, the answer is boring, right? It's like, it hasn't. If anything, impoliteness has gotten me into trouble. And even that, probably not that much. I usually manage to be just polite enough when I need to be. But, like, politeness isn't my strong suit. Now, in part because I also just don't bother to, because it doesn't interest me, right? Like, all of the, like, superficial pleasantries and it's bullshit, right? Like, I don't know why we do. I mean, it's social signaling. I get it on some level why we do that, but also, like, no, I don't even want to participate in that. I'm very utilitarian when it comes to that, so my pleasantries are fairly minimal. My manners are also not very good, if you couldn't tell. So,
yeah, it's fun. I don't recall any time that happened.
It is a very interesting question for people that have an answer to it, but
yeah.
Which brings us to another question I'm going to ask you, Sergej. Sergej, what is your song of the week?
My song of the week is Come Along by Cosmo Sheldrake.
Come along now, run away from the humdrum. We'll go to a place that is safe from greed, anger, and boredom. We'll dance and sing till sundown and feast with abandon. We'll sleep when the morning comes and we'll rise by the sound of the birds' song.
I don't have a strong opinion on this, but I am intrigued.
That is very high praise coming from you towards my song of the week.
I mean, it's true. Yeah, I tend to not be very positive about those. Anything interesting about that song, or?
Not really, no.
Well, I guess that takes us to my song of the week, which is Hearthammer by Runrig.
It's a song.
Yeah, honestly, this might be my favorite Runrig song, which is interesting because it's not really the most Runrig song, you know? That makes sense, right? It's not the most typical for them, but it's not like that out there anything, but it is not exactly what I would associate as sort of their main sound, but it is one of, if not the favorite song by theirs of mine. I think that made sense.
Yep.
If you enjoyed
Made sense to me.
This episode of the Trash Talk Podcast, don't forget to give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe you want to do that. If you want to see more episodes like this, if you have something to say, leave a comment or join the Discord server. Link is in the description below. Sergej.
That's it.
That's it.